for coming this to the time for this crucial forum. I want to open our discussion with the premise that is often misunderstood by the public. Many people feel taxes a burden, and they see accountant merely as a records as of that burden. However, if we look at the bigger picture, taxes are the foundation of national development. Without taxes, infrastructure and public service would be paralyzed. Therefore, I argue that an accountant is far more than just a bookkeeper. They are the gatekeeper of compliance. Tania, what do you think about this?
Thank you, Malikha. I completely agree of gatekeeper. And I think in the world of auditing, we see accurate tax reporting is not a result of a single day, but I think it is the result of thousands more of transaction through being recorded correctly every single day.
Okay. Actually, I agree with you, Tania, but in my opinion, that our content is not just someone who calculating about the cash flow or calculating about the money, but a content actually there is a person who show their integrity to their company, especially to make a financial report perfectly. And in my honest opinion, I contemplate a role as can I say this as a bridge between the tax authorities and the taxpayer.
Okay. Next, let's talk about the real world challenge. We know that tax regulations are incredibly dynamic. In this country alone, rules can change through ministerial regulation or circular letter in a very short time. Anisa, how does an accountant balance the pressure from client who wants to save on the taxes with this very strict regulation?
Okay. So, actually, this is our daily challenge because a lot of people say to me that can I skip my tax for this year, or why my tax are so high? Actually, this is the right time that we need to educate people, especially our company, uh, to make sure that they are still believe to the tax they pay. And I think this is our time to lead them for tax evasion. I mean tax evasion and tax avoidance. So we need to tell them about the difference, so they can choose the legal path or the legal way to pay their tax.
So exactly, Anisa, and don't forget tax auditory system are very complicated now, and I think there is data integration between agencies. So if an accountant tries to be creative in the wrong way, there's a high probability of getting caught. And I think I often see cases where mistakes happen not because of a bad intention, but because of ignorance. And I think for example, is applying the wrong asset depreciation method, or misclassifying text object, and etc. I think, and this is where the accountant's role in minimizing human errors is key. And
think so. Well, I agree with you that human is still more important, right?
So, consistency is the key. But, Tanya, what if an accountant discover a illegal practice within the company they work for? That must be very difficult position, right?
I think that is the ultimate moral test, and according to the code of ethics, an accountant most priorities the public interest, and the first step maybe, of course, it's is to report in it internally internally upper management, and I think we must provide a written warning regarding to legal consequences. If it continues to be ignored, a professional accountant must have the courage to distance themselves or even resign rather than be involved in a conspiracy to break the law.
Okay, we are a U-boat now. We are in the digital era. We have AI, robot accounting, and in ultimate billing system. There is a fear that the role of the accountant will be replaced by machine. Uh, Tanya, uh, as a practitioner, do you feel a trained or helped?
Personally, I feel incredibly helped, but in the past, accountants spend, I think, 70% of their time to making data manually, and it was exhausting and it easy to get calculation errors. And now, with OCR technology, we get data out automatically. And however, technology has its limits. A machine can calculate quickly, and I think, but they cannot understand context. A machine does not know if a travel expense is truly for business purpose or for the owner's personal interest without an accountant's assessment. So, technology shifts our role from data entry cards to data analysis. I think.
I completely agree with Tami's opinion actually because in this era AI and also machine is very famous to help people with their job, but the certain point is they always need the human brain, right? They need to human brain to think that there is correct or there is wrong. So basically, human logical is very important.
Okay, so you both agree that human is more important than machine.
Yes, right.
Okay, Anisa, you mentioned earlier that tax accountant is about integrity. But let's be real, business owner often see the taxes as a loss of profit. What do you do to make sure they see taxes as a benefit, not as a burden?
So I always tell my client that texts are like can I say this as a foundation? I mean like when you want to build your home you need to make a strong foundation, right? It's the same thing like you on your company you need to make a good financial cash flow, find a good financial report, financial management, and more. And if you are build your home with a witness foundation, I'm sure that one day your home will destroy. And it's the same like accountant who make a bad financial report, financial tax, but it just made us our or I mean made your company just pay tax more higher than before.
Hmm. I'd like to add a different perspective of Malikha, but while I agree with Anisa, and I think an accountant's role is also to be a strategic navigator, and also compliance does not mean the client has to play the maximum amount possible, and our job is to use the law to find to most efficient path.
Wait, but I think being too efficient is dangerous because the tax authorities can see that can see that a company using a very legal authorities, or they can see that we are very strict to among our tax. So are we just inviting another tax audit?
I think not necessarily. If the law allows for the tax deduction on certain business expense, it right amount, not a penny more, not a penny less. I think so.
Um, okay, this brings up a sensitive issue, the conflict of interest. What happens when the company's survival depends on relations of the tax rules? For example, during a financial crisis, does the accountant's royalty stay with the company who pays their salary or the state?
So, as an accountant, of course, we need to stay with the law and with the public. And if my company committed on tax fraud or falling into crisis, I think as an accountant, I need to help them with restructuring the everything, the management, the cash flow, the financial report, but not to commit in tax fraud.
I agree with Anissa, but it's often a lonely position to be in. You might to be the only person in the room saying no to the CEO. I think so, and this is why an accountant needs more than just a degree. I think the accountant need the courage so too. I think.
So, would you say that a good accountant is someone who is brave enough to be disliked by their boss?
Actually, my answer is yes. Because in this job we show our integrity, like I said before. So integrity, honestly, is more important on this field. And as a accountant, I need to add that uh, whatever our bosses dislike us, but we still have the integrity to show the public that we show you about the wrong way. It's not. It's important, and being respected is important, but being a honest person, being a respect a respectful person is more important to rather than you being liked by your boss.
So exactly, Anisa. And when the tax authorities see that company has a history at transparency reporting and high integrity accountant, the relationship becomes less combative and more cooperative. And I think that in self is a huge business advance, I think.
Okay. Okay, we are nearing the end of our time, but I have one final scenario for you both. In the world of tax compliance, there is a concept called professional skepticism. It means not taking everything at the face value. Anissa, how do you handle a client who is a good person but give you documents that don't quite add up?
Okay, so this is very delicate situation, and I think if I'm on this position, I will say that I want to keep my skepticism to my clients. So even though they are a good person, they are a good boss or whatever they call them, but I still need to dig their red flag. I still to being critics to their capabilities, to their everything the document that they show to me.
I like that approach, and I always tell my juniors trust but verify. And if a client says their entertainment expense double this year, I don't just type it in. I ask for the receipt, and not because I don't the client, but because my signature on the tax return means I am vouching for its accuracy.
Okay. But what if the client get offended? What if they say, I pay you to do my taxes, not to interrogate me?
Then I politely explain that if I don't interrogate them now, the tax auditor will do it much more aggressively later. I'd rather be the difficult accountant today than the one who has to defend a client in court for tax evasion tomorrow.
Exactly that. I think a good client is there where with us if we are a strict person or strict accountant. It just because we want to lead you with the right way.
Okay, we have come a long way in these discussions. We move from viewing taxes as a burden to seeing them as a shared responsibility and the accountant as the conscience of the business world. Any last word of wisdom for our listening, guys?
Can I say it first?
Okay, first.
So, in conclusion, I think as an accountant, integrity is a key. So, to everyone that want to be accountant in the future, I hope you have a good loyalty to your company, to the public, and to the law. And also, I think it's like a quote, but integrity is like an eraser. So when you use it to hide your wrong way or your malfunction, so it will be smaller. So to everyone, please keep your integrity full of your life.
And you?
I think just this, guys. Compliance is not one time event at the end of the year, and it's a culture. If you build a culture of honesty, the taxes take care of themselves. I think.
Okay. I like I like analogy where Anisa say integrity is like easier. Okay, thank you Tania, thank you Anisa, and thank you everyone who joined our forum today. Let's go out there and be the gatekeeper our country needs. Okay.